Hey, this is Mike Bibby, former veteran NBA basketball player, head coach of Sacramento State Hornets, and you're listening to the Jim on Base Show.
Hey, it's Ryan from the Jim on Base Show, and I want to give a huge shout out to my friends at Goat Fuel. They sent me some great swag and also sent a couple of cans. The first one being the tropical berry can with the great Jerry Rice on it, as well as the Babe Ruth can, the blueberry lemonade. So if you want to drink like a goat, go to goatfuel.com and see where you can pick up some cans nearest you. And they also make great collector's items. So goatfuel.com. Check them out. Welcome back to another episode of the Jim on Base Show. For today's very special guest, we have on someone who spent 14 years in the NBA. He was a fan favorite, had some great memories, especially with the Sacramento Kings. He was also the number 2 overall pick in the 1998 NBA draft, and he's also the new head coach of the Sac State men's basketball team. Please welcome the great Mike Bibby. Mike, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to see you, and I know you got a lot going on right now. So are you on campus right now, or where am I interviewing you from?
Yeah, I'm at campus right now. We're sitting there, we just got all the kids in this week. So we're just trying to get these kids, get some camaraderie with each other, taking them out to eat, top golf, bowling, barbecues and stuff like that, just so they could get, familiar with each other before the season starts.
Yeah, I know I saw a post, I think, on social media. You guys hit the lanes. You went bowling the other night, right?
Yeah, we did. I mean, there's a few guys that could bowl pretty good, but I mean, good thing we didn't get them for their bowling activities. We got them for their basketball.
Well, it's got to be pretty neat. I don't know, did you live in Sacramento at all or have a place in retirement? Because now that you're back in town, it must be a little nostalgic for you.
No, I live in Phoenix. This is like a second home to me being out here in Sacramento. So it's comfortable for me out here. I had to get a new place to live. Once I got traded from here, 2007, 2008, I had sold my house. And, I always keep my house in Phoenix just because that's where I was raised. And, my family, cousins, and everybody's out there. And, but I had to come and get a new place here. And like I said, it's just a familiar situation for me being here. I got a lot of friends that are still out there. I know my way around town. So, I mean, it's good to be back here at my second home.
Well, I was kind of thinking before we started, and it's pretty cool how the two basketball coaches in town are you and your old teammate, Doug Christie now. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm happy for Doug. I think Doug, got a tough, when you trade your superstars with the face of the programs, it's hard to get back on. Doug, I won't say he got a raw in the stick, but he was put in a tough situation and did good, did really good actually. They didn't make the playoffs this year, but I'm pretty sure he got over 500. Just to where he was put in a situation, I think he deserved that job. He came out there, he got the guys rallying behind him, and Doug's a good coach. He's very passionate about the game. He's very passionate about his players.
Yeah, definitely. And, especially with, Sacramento, you kind of mentioned it there, knowing your way around town. It's booming these days. There's new concert venues, new arenas. So I imagine it's probably good to be back.
It is really good to be back. What we got with, Dr. Luke Wood and Mark Orr, what they're bringing to, Sacramento State with the hiring of Coach Marion and, myself and what they're doing for the athletic department. I haven't seen anything before in my life. Just the way that, we see the president every day. I talk to the president every day. A lot of these guys don't even get to see the president of the school, throughout their whole coaching career. So, I mean, just to be a part with Mark and Dr. Luke Wood, has been a great thing for our program and for the school.
Yeah. And before we get too deep into it, though, I know you just had a birthday, right? May 13th. So what did you do?
Yeah. No, I was back home, just went to dinner with my family, hung out a little bit, spend time. It's just, I'm older now, so it's a lot of hanging around my family and just, spending time with them.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a fellow Taurus. I'm May 11th, so I just had mine too.
Okay.
Well,
Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday to you.
yeah, you're my birthday buddy. It made me wonder though, like in terms of hobbies and stuff, have you been getting into golf like everybody else, or has that sucked you in yet?
Yeah. I've been playing golf for a while now. I first started like in 2000. I've gotten a little better, but it's something that golf is something that you have to go practice at. I'm the type of person that just likes to go play 18 and get done. Everybody always says, go get some lessons or go hit some
Mm.
balls. I'm like, nah, I'll just go play. If I have a good day, I have a good day. If I don't, I don't. So
Yeah, it makes sense. Well, I was curious. You're looking good still. So, do you kind of hop into practice at all? Are you gonna take some shots or anything like that?
No, I'm not. I'm too old. These kids are too young for me now. I'm just gonna stay in the background, coach. My son is there. I got a few people that could help get on the court with the kids at the same time. But I'll just be doing a lot of evaluating and being a head coach.
Well, it's kind of weird to me. I was thinking like maybe some of the players' parents are they the ones saying, "Hey, I enjoyed watching you play," or you were one of my favorite guys.
Yeah, mostly. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's really weird. I mean, you got people um, that were young that still say the same thing. You meet people that are like, "Hey, I was 10 years old when I went to the game," or "I was this." You know what I mean? So you run into people all the time that have watched me play or seen highlights at least. So I mean, like I said, it's another good part of being around Sacramento. You got the great fans out here, and they're looking for a winning program, and I
Mm.
think we could help them with Sac State.
Yeah. And it's got to be interesting too. Like, do you get some flashbacks, recruiting players, maybe remembering what it was like when you were in their shoes?
No, I mean it's totally different now. I mean there's money thrown at these kids. You're allowed to do a
Mm.
lot of different stuff. It was different than what than it is now. I mean back then you couldn't get a free meal or a slice of pizza um, being an athlete. So I mean it's different now. I mean you have to do different types of recruiting for these guys now.
Well, you mentioned it there, your son's an assistant coach, and I was wondering, how do people address you guys? Are you Mike and he's Michael, or how do you guys do it?
Yeah, he doesn't. He has a different middle name than me, so he doesn't like to be called Junior. But I keep telling him like you have the same name as me. Like people are gonna be like Michael Bibby. I'm still Michael Bibby. I just shortened my name up, but he goes by Michael. I go by Mike.
Oh, okay. And it made me wonder. I mean, the passion must be there. So, was he following you around when you were still playing? Was he tagging along at games and
Yeah, I
stuff?
mean he was there. I had him when I was at University of Arizona, so
Mm.
he's seen my whole career path. Not just a lot of these guys have kids when close to the end of their career or when they're done playing. So I had him for the whole time. He played basketball for a while. He played professionally for a while. Um, and he went to Division One. He went to University of South Florida for a year, and then ended up going to Appalachian State for the rest of his career. But he's just gotten in the mode. He's just like I want to play. I want to coach, Dad. So you know, as soon as I got the job, it was a no brainer. I was going to bring him on, and I think probably within like a couple years, 2 or 3 years, he's going to have his own head coaching job. He's that good.
Yeah, it's pretty neat because I've been able to interview Nicholas Kerr a few times, and being in the
Mhm.
Bay Area, it's really cool to see Steve Kerr and Nick in the same organization. So obviously, it's special what you and your son have going right
Yeah,
now.
I mean you gotta bring them along. A lot of people won't give these guys a chance. Like if you got a chance to help the people that are around you and in your family, you got to help them.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's not just you and your son now that are coaches. Your dad played. I know he coached at USC and played coach professional ball as well. So, was it always kind of a goal to become a coach, or did that kind of come later in life for you?
Came later in life. My son started high school like right the year I retired. After my last year in New York, and I was watching him play, and I was just gonna leave him in somebody else's hands. Coach him in AAU, and I went to a high school practice one day, and I was like, I'm not liking the way this is looking. You know what I mean? Because he's not gonna. I mean, doesn't he's not gonna learn anything there. I want him to be able to learn from other people, and I just told the AD like, hey, I'm gonna probably transfer him transfer him out of the school next year. I don't really like what's going on. Like, come watch the practice and stuff. So, and he's like, you know what? I don't know if we're gonna, retain the head coach. Would you like to coach? And I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I coach. And so I ended up coaching and gotten into it. And, I mean, I coached him, since he was in AAU, since he was 9. So I was coaching him throughout that whole time anyway. But, I never really thought of being a high school coach after that until I took over the high school team that he was on.
And now you're doing it for Sacramento State. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I love it. Like I said, after that, I realized, that's what something I want to give back. I want to teach these kids, get them to the next level and just let them know what it takes, and have them be, trying to train them for on the court as well as off the court.
Well, that made me wonder: is your dad is he going to pop in see some games, or if people don't
Yeah,
know, he
he'll
played
come
in the
in.
NBA.
He'll come in eventually. He'll come help. I have him come talk to the team here and there, and just kind of give give his outlook on stuff. Maybe have him see a few games, kind of sit them down, talk, and let them know what an outside eye looking in could let them and tell them relate and see and talk to them, kind of give them perception of not us, not the guys that they see every day, and just so they could get another voice to listen to.
Hmm. Well, I had on Mark Matson a few seasons ago when he took over at Cal, and he had told me that he FaceTimed his old teammate Shaq to kind of talk to the team. So, is that something you've done? Are you going to bring any of your old teammates in to kind of talk to the team? Anything like
Yeah,
that?
we got a lot of people that we're going to bring in. We got a lot of guys that are going to be at the games. Former NBA players. You know, NBA players that are playing now. Shaq's our our general manager right now, and he's helping with stuff too. He's doing a lot for the school, and just trying to. We got a son playing on the team too, so I mean
Hmm.
it's like a family affair that we got going on here. So we're trying to turn this thing around, make this thing a big deal out here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it made me wonder though, like you stole Shaq away from Marks. That's pretty good.
I mean, it was different probably for him back then because they weren't doing the general managers and stuff in college. And, I mean, I picked his son up, and like a couple weeks later, I was like, maybe we could get him to help with some stuff. Maybe,
Mm.
he could help the team with stuff. And so, it was like, yeah, just let me see what it would take for me to do. And I would love to help. So it was kind of that easy.
Nice. Kind of made me think that'll be kind of fun to see you play Cal, a fun matchup, you and against your old Laker rival.
I mean, we got them on the schedule. We'll be playing them this year. So I don't recall the date exactly, but we got them and UCLA coming up too. So
Yeah, that'll be a good matchup there. It made me think too about Shaq. Like, what was your relationship like with him through the years, besides being someone you played against? I imagine you guys might have been friends, or.
no, I mean we haven't talked
Hmm.
until I was recruiting his son and we got his son to come here. So
Ah,
I mean, it was a little touchy. I mean, outside of that, it was touchy. You know, Going back to Lakers, I still really don't like the Lakers to this day just because, but. You get older, you get past certain things. So me and Shaq are past. That was a good battle. I think we had. It was great going against, Kobe and him. I think three of two of the three top players that ever played the game, and it was just good that I was a part of that legacy that they had.
well, me growing up in your era watching you play, the first thing I thought of was, well, I guess you let the Sacramento Queens comment go that Shaq said back in the day.
I mean, it was just. I mean, I think a lot of that was just to get the rivalry even more heated up. Help the NBA, and I mean, because that was one of the biggest rivalries that you've seen in a while. Was the Sacramento Kings versus the Lakers. Still, look at the fans and at the Kings game, and you know, I don't know how much the Lakers people and them don't like us, but Sacramento Kings do not like Lakers people.
Yeah, yeah. Even as a Warrior fan, I was used to them beating us up all the time, so I hate the Lakers too.
Yeah,
One thing,
yeah. The Warriors used to get beat up back in the day.
yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to bring up too, as you know, Draymond Green has his podcast, and he basically kind of does it all the time, like through the season and everything. So you have your podcast, the Straight Game podcast. Is that something you're going to keep going, or how's that going to work?
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing it. I mean, we got a good thing going, I think, with Eddie House and Ty Ellis. And it was just, not a lot of crap talking. It's just, real talk about basketball. We just call it how we see. Everybody has their opinions, and I mean, just go look it up. You can find it on any channel you look at. I mean, that have Straight Game Pod, and just look it up. It's a lot of stuff on it. We got a lot of good people. We got Steve Jackson, Nate Robinson, Matt Barnes. We're working on some other people too as well. So we're working hard on that as well. It will keep going for sure.
Right up my alley, because you're naming some ex-Warriors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I have no problem. I play with a lot of those guys too. So.
yeah. Well, I mean, not only is a co-host, but your brother-in-law, right? Eddie House, so Bay Area guy. That's pretty
Not
cool.
anymore. They're not married anymore. So I mean, they have I have three nephews. Eddie, I mean, has three nephews that are my nephews. So still coming over to the house, work out every day, and they're part of the family.
Mm. Yeah, well, maybe we'll edit that part out. Obviously becoming a coach now, it made me think of guys that you've played for. Curious what kind of impact some of them had, because you played for some great guys, whether it's Rick Adelman and the great Lute Olson in college. So you played for some great people.
Yeah, I played for Rick Adelman, Mike Woodson. Those are probably two of my favorite coaches that I had. Mike Woodson's now with Sacramento Kings too, so he's back out here, back on thing, back on the grind again. But
Mm.
I take a little bit of stuff from everybody. I mean, especially Lute Olson too as well. Even though I was further back in the day, I still take stuff from him. But as a coach, I'm still learning. As a player, I was still learning too. So I still learn stuff to this day. That's just what I think that's going to make me better is that,
Mm.
you can't think that you know everything. I'm still learning, and, whatever I could find and whatever could help me, I'll take it in and, try to soak it up.
Well, speaking of playing, I just had Gary Payton on about a week ago, and
Mhm.
I asked him about Byron Scott because I did an event with Byron Scott, and everyone said how he was like one of the best trash talkers in his day. So I always think of Gary Payton as being a great trash talker. So who in your time that you played against, who sticks out as like, oh man, that guy was he'd get under
Gary
your skin?
Payton. Gary
Okay.
Payton. I played against him. Uh, it was cool. It was closer to not the end of his career, but it was like coming down to it when I was coming in. But I mean, he's one of the best, if not the best, trash talker there was. Rasheed Wallace is good, but
Mm.
he usually went at the refs. It wasn't too many players I don't think he went at because I don't think anybody wanted to mess with him. But he talked a lot of trash to the refs, though, for sure.
You weren't much of a trash talker, were you? We kind of just quiet doing your thing, or
Yeah, I like to play the game, and I was taught that no one really said nothing to me either. I went out there, it was hard work, and since high school, my mom just told me shut up and play. I was in high school, I talked a lot of trash, and that's where I got my quiet demeanor from. Like just go out there and play and act like you've done this before. I worked so
mm.
hard in my own time. When I hit a shot, I feel like I'm supposed to hit that shot. I don't want to celebrate after every make because that one for one could turn into a one for 15 very easily. So I want to keep a level head, stay humble, and just play basketball.
Yeah, I guess it's like act like you've been there before and like you're gonna do it again, right?
Yeah, I mean, but like even like I would get excited sometimes. After you hit 4 or 5 shots, and that's different. That's a different story. Now you're like, okay, you got that swag, you got that feeling. Like, okay, I feel it coming on now. It's about to be a long night for whoever's guarding me. So that's
Yeah.
different than knocking down one shot. I think.
Well, I thought it was interesting. I was doing some thinking, and I realized you played with LeBron, right? And you played against Michael Jordan.
I played against Michael Jordan when he was with the Wizards. I played with LeBron. It wasn't for long. It was probably I got traded in the middle of the season, and then like a couple weeks after that, I went to Miami. So I maybe played like 12 games, 16
Mm.
games during the playoffs. But I wasn't that long in Miami. I was coming down to like my end of my career.
Mm. Still made me think though, like because I know your uncle played in the MLB. That's like saying you played with Barry Bonds and Babe Ruth, though. Like, what are the odds?
I mean, yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, I don't know. It was that's kind of farther way away than LeBron and MJ, I think. But it was just good. Like I said, I've been on the court with a lot of Hall of Famers, a lot of people that you could look back at the game and say like, those are one of the best guys that ever played. I got to say I played against them.
Yeah. I'm a big music fan, so just curious,
Hmm.
what kind of music are you into, and who was your very first concert?
Hip hop, I like rap. I don't know what my first concert was. My first concert might have been Bill DeVoe, maybe back in the maybe the '90s sometime. Velvet
Okay.
DeVoe.
If you could bring back an artist or a band, who would you bring back for one show?
I'd like to go see Tupac and I never got a chance. I was younger when he passed away in '96. I was still in high school, so if I could bring him back, I'd bring him back and go see a concert of his.
Nice. And growing up watching you, I always noticed the tattoos you had. So just made me wonder, what's the most meaningful one you had, or one that just sticks out? Maybe you remember getting and it was painful or something like that.
I mean, they all hurt, but I mean, I have all my kids on me. It was when I was young. You see a lot of people getting tattoos. My brother had a lot of tattoos. and I looked up to him. So it was like, hey, I want to get tattoos to be like my brother and stuff. So um, if I could get them all removed, they hurt so bad to get them removed, I get them removed. But I mean, it's just like you go through a phase. I'm older now, and would like to clean up.
Well, when it comes to your favorite teams and players growing up, sounds like you grew up around the game since your dad played, right? So, did you have like favorite guys, or did you look at them more of like your dad's coworkers, or how was it for you?
My favorite player, my favorite player when I was Jason Kidd.
Mm,
I mean, everybody loved Michael Jordan, but I remember my brother. I was in eighth grade, and my brother Jason Kidd was on the front of USA Today, and um, I remember him going, "Hey, the best player in the country is on the front of USA Today, and you guys kind of resemble each other." And ever since he said that, I was like, okay, I want to try to model my game after him
mm.
and play like him. The way he was played in high school and in college, it was a fun thing to watch, and I just was trying to patent my game after his.
Yeah, another Bay Area guy right there, the great Jason Kidd.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm West Coast guy too, so
Yeah. Did you collect autographs at all, or do you remember like your first autograph you ever got?
no, I didn't really collect autographs. I loved being around the game, and I didn't ask for autographs. I didn't know what really meant if autographs meant anything. I just wanted to be around the guys and just show them that I could play basketball. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing really about autographs.
Speaking of the Kings too, especially those teams you played for, it made me think like, were they ever a little bit ahead of their time? You had such great shooters like Peja on there. So, do you feel like that maybe your team would even be better in today's game?
I think so. I think we play the exact same way that they're playing today. I kind of think the Warriors kind of I don't want to say got it off us, but they made it a good run too as well. But like everybody on the team, we were different, man. It's like nobody had any egos. Everybody wanted to win, and we played for each other. It was not there was going to be nothing else. That's why, and everybody had high IQs,
Mm.
and everybody could score. I mean, I mean, you could go down the line of our team. We had a lot of guys that were on our bench that left us and were stars, on another team. So I mean, we had a really good team. We practices were the best because we'd go in our second group would beat us a lot. The first group that we had, so I mean, we had a really good team, man. It was something that I could hold my head up to say I was a part of.
Mm. Well, that era, every now and then it pops in my head, like what do you call it, like a fad, basically. And one of your teammates, the great Bobby Jackson, did you have the spinners on your car, the rim spinners, or?
Yeah, everybody had those. Everybody had those.
Yeah,
And then Webb had it on the shoes, on his Dada shoes, and but yeah, we everybody had spinners.
yeah, just a funny memory that every now and then I'll think about that. Like, I wonder if they'll ever make a comeback.
And you never know, everything makes a comeback. So they went to tight clothes again. Now baggy clothes are coming back in, so everything comes back around.
Yeah, that you were in the era of like the baggy suits and whatnot. So were you into it, or do you like the tight fit more now?
I mean, I wear not it's tight. I want to be able to move still, but I mean, it's not as big. I
Mm.
mean, but I still, I was in the big suit era, 5X t-shirts and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm older now. It's more fitting now.
And it made me wonder too, like when you're watching the game these days, if you could be one of the starters, who would be the four other guys in the league now that you would want to have like a starting five with?
It had to be Tatum, Joker.
Mm.
Um, I like Maxi, Steph, of course, and I don't know.
That'd be a pretty good team though. You got shooting and you got size.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of a four man, maybe one Wemby. Give me Wemby. I'll take
Okay,
Wemby too.
awesome.
Put Wemby at the four.
Those are some good names right there. And just a couple more questions, but I couldn't help but remember, Kings and Lakers, you guys had such a good rivalry back when you played. A lot of people like to ask about like favorite Kobe memories. And I was curious, do you have a favorite one of him though, like maybe being on the court or something that was said in passing?
Our dads played together. There was a
Mm,
time I have a story where I was about to be traded, and I had talked to him, and I was supposed to get traded to the Lakers, and then the trade fell through. I talked to him for a couple of days. We were trying to get it to work, And I think it would have been great to play with Shaq and Kobe being on a team in there and just kind of let things ride out like that. So that would have been fun.
Yeah, definitely. When I think about you being the number 2 pick, that was pretty good draft class. You know, Paul Pierce is in there, Vince Carter. Always wondered what you thought about my favorite player growing up, the great Antoine Jameson.
Antoine James was good too. We played against him. I played against him twice in college. We beat him both times. But I think he got Player of the Year that year
Hmm.
in college. But I mean, he was a tough player. His game was different. A lot of floaters and stuff like that. But I mean, his game was different. But he was an exceptional player for sure.
Yeah, I had to throw him in there because he's my favorite guy. But
Mm.
in closing, I got to say thanks for coming on. And what are you looking forward to most about coaching and being a part of Sacramento in this role now?
Just to turn the school around, just to give them change the culture here, get in a winning mindset, and let them know even if you're at a mid-major, smaller school, you can compete with those bigger schools. So I mean, that's what I'm here to do. Try to, schedule some of those games to get there, and so we could showcase some of our guys.
Well, Mike, I'm excited to hopefully get over there, catch some games, see in action, and I won't be heckling you, so I'll be cheering from the press box.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on.